Hello Year 6, Mr Dice here again, as ever. This is in fact the last in our series of 4 art sessions, and in this art session we're hopefully going to pull all of the skills and techniques that we've learnt together to produce a copy of a portrait of someone quite famous called Barack Obama, the ex-president of the United States of America. So I'm going to give you an option, and in our warm-up this week we're going to use the time to prepare the paper that we're going to use for our portrait. So I'm going to give you an option of taking the easy route, the middle route, or the hard route, and in the end we'll all end up with something hopefully that we're quite pleased with. But you also need to remember that this is just practice. It's for practice for a technique, and if you're really interested in what we're doing, then you can carry it on just a little bit further. So I will show you the 3 different ways in which you can go about making this portrait. So without further ado, I'll show you what to do. Okay, this is the image that hopefully you've got in front of you that we're going to copy. It's a photograph of President Obama, and I've chosen this one because he's got really good symmetrical features. Both sides of his face are fairly similar, and his whole face fills that page, which is going to make it easier for us to actually start off that copy that we're going to make. So I'll talk to you in a moment about how we're going to, when we get started with our drawing. But first of all, we're going to have a look at the proportions between the top of the head and the eyebrows and the eyes and the nose and the mouth and the chin, and how those fit proportionally, how they fit to scale along that page. Now, one of the easiest ways of doing this activity, if you're not sure about your drawing skills and you want a little bit of help, is actually to take the image and just cut around the outside so you've got rid of the background. Once you've done that, the next thing you need to do is just put it onto a plain piece of paper, and then on that plain piece of paper you can just trace around the outside. I'll do it very quickly. So you've got your reference points of the outside or the outer line that we're doing there. So you do it more carefully. I'm doing it so you don't have to watch me for too long. And then when you've done that, you should end up with an outline like so. And then this is really important. You need to have this side, your cutout, exactly the same, as close as you can, to the piece of paper that you're working on. And then we can see from where the top of his ears come here, we're going to draw a line across the top of his ears here, and we're going to draw a line that comes just a little bit. This is going to be for his nostrils, and if I can see, if you want to, you can use a ruler to help you out and put a ruler there. Make sure you've got that really exactly the same, so it's close and the same, and that line there is going to be where his nostrils are. I haven't done it very darkly, and then I'm going to again make sure that's nice and tightly on. I'm going to put a ruler where the middle of his mouth comes. So I'm going to do a line that comes across here. These lines have got to be very fine. I'm going to put a line where his hairline comes up here. That's going to help me. I've got my eyes, and I'm just going to do his chin, which is going to come down right down to here. So that's where his chin's going to go here. And I might just do a line up through the middle, because as I said, it's fairly symmetrical. Now those lines you can't really see because They're just, if you can remember, guidelines, so they're quite faint. So when you've done that, that's your preparation you need for your easy one to do. Okay. Now the next one is slightly harder, because we're going to take this one and we're going to do a similar sort of activity, but we're going to make it slightly different. So I'm going to put the plain piece of paper that we're going to work on here, and I'm just going to use, and this is a reference, I'm going to put this as, this is where the bottom of the drawing comes, so I'm going to draw a line. That can be quite a good line across there. Now this is going to be the bottom of his chin, so I put the ruler on the bottom of his chin. Now I know that the bottom of his chin doesn't come right across that paper, so I'm just going to do a little guideline just about in the middle. So a little guideline there. I'm going to come up here to his mouth. Now I know his mouth is going to be wider than his chin, so I'm going to put a line like so across there. Now this is going to be his ears, so I put my ruler at the bottom of his ear here and make sure it's lined up properly on here. Now I know it's just in a little bit, and this one's in a little bit as well, so I've got to do some more. It's not quite as easy as the one that we're doing before. I'm now moving to the top of his ears. I'm going to do a little line there and a little line there. So those are going to be the top of his ears. I'm going to put a line here where his nostrils are going to be, and that's going to come more or less in the middle. So a little line there. And then we've got his eyes, which are coming on the top of his ears. Eyebrows, which are going to come just up round like so. And then the last one I'm going to do is his hairline, which comes about here. And if I show you that one, this is what it would look like if I did it. If I did it with a pen. I don't want to do it with a pen because I don't want these lines to be done, but I just want you to see this is his hairline. This is going to be where his eyes come, nostrils. I've just put marks, the bottoms of his ears and the tops of his ears, and his chin here. The third one that we want you to do, I just have to get another piece of paper for this, is, and this is probably the most difficult one, you're just going to put a piece of paper over the top of those marks. Now if you're doing this one, you need to make the marks much darker so that you can see through the paper, and those marks will just give you a guideline for when we get going with our activity. So there's the three different options for you: the cutout, the using the ruler to come across the paper to show you the spacing, and perhaps one up the middle so you know where the middle line is going to be. Again, that's going to be done very faintly. And then if you want to do the third one, go over those lines so they're quite dark so you can see them when you put it underneath your paper as a guideline. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to do to get those. Once we've done that, I'll show you the technique for finishing off that drawing. Okay, now hopefully you've chosen which way that you want to go about doing this piece of work, and you might have done your cutout, or you might have done your lines across, or you might be putting the lines on the lines underneath the paper, so it's almost like a tracing. Now comes, this is the whole trick of this that I want to show you now. This image is, you can see it on camera because it's reversed, it is to you it looks like it's the right way around. To me it's upside down because his hair is closest to my body. So what I want you to do is to turn the image that you've got upside down, and we're going to copy it upside down. Now there is reason in that madness, The reason we're doing it is because if we were copying it, if I was copying it the right way around, I'd draw an ear and I'd sort of think to myself in my head, or my brain would tell me, that that ear, I know what an ear's like, I know what an eye's like, I know what noses and lips are like. And it doesn't encourage me to look carefully. So what I want to do is to turn it upside down, and now we're trying to focus on this image rather than the one too much that we're drawing. So we're really looking at all the shapes and the sizes and how it fits into the page. We're looking at the shapes, the negative shapes around the outside, how that shape goes, and we're looking at how this shape goes, and we're looking where this occurs here. So I've got my little lines to help me, and I know now I'm going to start down here. I'll just move that across slightly so you can see a bit more clearly. I'm going to start down here on his chin, and I know that the ears are going to come here, so maybe I'll start with those ears actually, and I know that that's going to come out. So if I look at the shape of his ears, it's fairly straight there, and then it comes down, and I'm just looking at that shape as a shape. I'm not looking at it as an ear, I'm just looking at it as a line. And now that comes back in across like that. Now I'm going to come across to here, and I know that that line starts here, and I know that that comes down, but it's got a little bit more of a kink in that one. It's got a little bit more of a kink, and then it comes in like so up. So I'm following that line there and back in, and now this comes back round to here. So I've got my two ears. Now what I think I'll do, I think I'll come up here to the hairline, which is here, and so if I look really carefully at this, it's coming up and then it's sort of diving in. So I'm going to come up, and then that comes in slightly, and that's got a bit of a curve that comes around there, and that comes round. I've hit the edge of the table now, so that's coming there, and I'm going to not join up, I'm going to come from this side this time, and this sort of goes out. Oh sorry, I'm doing the wrong line. It's coming up straight again. So all the time you've really got to focus on the line that you're drawing, and that comes round and across like so. Now I'm doing this with a dark pencil so you can see more clearly what I'm doing, but when you do it you can take your time and do lighter strokes, because then when you turn around, if it goes wrong, you can alter it, rub it out. So that's coming around. Now I'm going to make up this bit at the top, because on my photocopy, and I'm sure on yours, we've lost a little bit of that hair. So I've still got it upside down, and now I know my chin's going to come here. Now I know that's sort of halfway along, so the bottom of my chin comes here, and I'm going to come down. I can see that his face comes down and then it comes in slightly to his chin, so I'm going to just put a bit of a chin on here, and then that's coming down from here. I'm following this line down, and I know it comes down and around here. That chin's going to come out, and it's going to come up and out and around. Now at this stage I'm going to turn that round and see how I think I'm doing with that. So now I'm going to see I've got that ear slightly wrong, so I'm going to alter that, and I think that was too much of a bump on it there, so I'm going to bring that out like so. So I'm quite happy with that. I think that hair, I might add just a little bit there just to make that a little bit more symmetrical. So see, I've concentrated on doing it upside down, and then I've turned it around the right way to check. Now I'm going to carry on with that technique. So I'm going to put it back close together so that I can see what I'm doing. I'm now going to have a look at the mouth, and I can see the distance between here and here. I'm going to make a little line on there and a little line on there, and I can see that that bottom lip, I've got to watch carefully as I come around, comes like so. So the bottom lip goes like that, and then he's got a little line that comes at the end there, and then that mouth comes through like so. And then the top lips, this is coming up slightly, then across, and up again, and down. I think that's more symmetrical there. And he's got like a little thing there. So I'm going to turn that round again just to check how happy I am with that mouth. I'm just going to see if that's okay. And I'm going to take that up. I'm just going to do that just a little bit more, like so. And that corner of the mouth I'm quite happy with. And I'm just going to put a little shade in there for the moment because I like to. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm taking each feature and I'm going to do it upside down, and then I'm going to check that I've got it right. So I'm just going to do this is his chin here, and on his chin about here, this is his neck comes here, and his shirt collar comes down to here. So I'm just following that line. Maybe that needs to be a little bit longer. I'll check in a minute. And then this one comes here from, so his neck comes down here, his shoulders coming across. I'm going to take it slightly higher and bends around there, and then his jacket comes down there. So I've got this shape, which is this shape, hopefully that's right, and then the collar of his shirt comes around here. I've got his neck coming here, and again that goes down, out and around, and then his collar steps out a little bit from there, comes out and down, and then he's got a little thing here, his Adam's apple. So again, now I've done it upside down, I'm going to turn it round, and I'm going to just check and see how I'm liking that. Yeah, and that's not bad. And as I say, you can do with your rubber, if anything you're not happy with, go around and do that. Now, to do the nose, I'm just going to do one last little thing for you, maybe the eyes or the nose. Eyes are quite good. So the eyes are going to come here. When I look at them upside down, they look flat here. So that's just above his, the top of his ears. So I'm just going to do a light flat line here, like so. And then it's like a half moon that comes up, and they're slightly hooded. So that comes up like that, and that comes up like that. And then that just comes down to the corner of his eyes, like so. And then there's a little line I can see that comes above there. A little line I can see that comes above there. And then he's got a little in the corner here. That's his tear duct in that eye. Tear duct there. He's got a little line that comes underneath those eyes, like so. And then he's got, you can't see all of that circle. And then he's got some light shining on that. One's there. And then his eyebrows, and I've got the line for his eyebrows here, come up so like this, and they come round and down like that. So that comes like so, and I'm going to do the same here, and that comes down that side as well. So I'm watching the shape I've got here, and then I'm going to turn around. So this is now facing the right way for me, and I can see how those eyes are doing, and that's quite good. Eyebrows coming up so, like so. Yep, and that's got just a little bit darker down there. So I'm going to leave you now with that. I'll just, yeah, I'll leave you that with that one there. This is one that I did earlier, and you might be able to see. And what I've done, I've shaded it all in. So when I see you on the Zoom call, we'll see if we can do some of our hatching, cross hatching, and shading. So just take it easy. Use the chance to really look at the image and then recheck that you're doing okay as you go along. And there's no rush. There's no rush at all. Okay, see you on the Zoom.